fun. I had a great time.
Nintopic podcast, all things Nintendo. welcome to the Nintopics podcast. Let me see if it works. Should be working, right? Can you guys hear?
Yep.
There we go. Welcome, guys, to the Nintopics podcast. We are here. We're live, and it is Wednesday, 7 something Eastern time.
7 something.
And I hope you guys are doing well. We are here with the crew, having a great time. Just looking forward to this amazing podcast because we have a lot to talk about. And guess what, chat? You look amazing today. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Live with us. Thank you for all your amazing comments out there. I read a lot of beautiful comments towards the podcast, and we are super grateful to have you. Right now, I just want to take this time to introduce the stars of the podcast, right? I'm just here to assist. These are the real stars right here. I'm going to start with Paul Gill Network. Take it away, Paul. How are you? And what have you been playing lately? Can you answer those 2 questions?
I'm doing great today. I was playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, particularly on my son's file. He's 8, and he's this close to beating the game, but he says, he wants to save it for my birthday, which is in 2 more days, so it would be like a memorable thing. So I was like, that's cute, that's fun. Like, I beat the game on Father's Day, so
wow, nice.
He's gonna beat it on my birthday, I guess, unless if he beats it while we're on right now. Like, I can't wait, but that's fun. So that's a nice experience seeing his passion grow and grow for Zelda and other titles. But I've been playing that too, a little bit on my file, mostly watching him, helping out a little bit, and then playing Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy 16.
Nice.
Street Fighter, I'm getting close to a gold rank, but like the competition's getting really tough, and the more fish in the sea, the more you realize you're not as tough anymore. There's some really good players out there, but it's good stuff.
That is awesome. First thing, happy birthday or early birthday, right? Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy early birthday, Paul.
Thank you.
That's our guy.
I'm telling you, I mean, Paul has lived one of the most craziest lives when it comes to Nintendo and gaming. I mean, you have to follow him on Twitter, follow him on YouTube. You guys are gonna enjoy his content. He's amazing. He has a great story. He's gonna share one with us later today. And yeah, like no better thing than to say that like father, like son, right? When you have a son that just looks up to you and he's really following your footsteps when it comes to gaming and loving gaming, then you on Father's Day finishing Tears of the Kingdom, and then him on your birthday. That's crazy. That's just insane, man. That's awesome. I'm glad and I'm happy that you're having that bonding experience with your son. Next up, the incredible Doctor of Theory in the Legend of Zelda, Dr. DJ Joycey J. She's the doctor and DJ for you.
We got there in the end.
And her soup mug.
There you go.
That's filled with coffee.
No.
As it should be.
As it should be. I say
bottom half.
I didn't have any caffeine all day today, just to make sure that I could have coffee with you fine, wonderful people this evening. Been playing Tears of the Kingdom, of course. I haven't been playing as much lately because work, life, busy. But yesterday was the 4th, and I'm in South Texas where it's too hot to go outside.
Oh man.
It's just it really is. Like, shout out to people who love to be in the outdoors and everything, but I'm bougie. I stay in the house. I gotta be with the air condition, and I'm a penguin. I gotta be in the air condition. So yeah. So that's what I did all day yesterday. I'm getting close to the end, almost. I got all the shrines. A good chunk of Koroks, because I didn't realize that your inventory maxed out at like 19 spaces. I felt like it was more in Breath of the Wild. So
wow.
Yeah, and I think that's only weaponry. I think the other 2, your bows and your the shields are less. So I was like, eventually I'm going to go back and look at my Breath of the Wild and say, okay, how much stuff did they give us there? But anyway, so doing that, almost done with all the light routes. And then I only have 2 quests left, and I'm going to go and hunt down a certain fun villain. I love him. And then there's only one thing left to do, and that's, one-on-one with Ganon. I'm excited.
Right, so this fun villain, can I try to guess, but not tell the name, but try to guess?
I can give you a very good hint.
Okay, give me a hint.
Have you all eaten your banana today?
Oh yeah. That's my favorite one. He is hilarious. I love that guy.
Okay.
That whole team is it's not really a spoiler. You get quests for them very, very, very early.
I love that you spend more time with him this time around than more than in Breath of the Wild, which is really cool.
The Yiga are so much more fleshed out. They're enjoyable, even though they're kind of they have better disguises. If you read through all the little journals they have in the depths, you find out about one of their disguises. I don't want to say it because not everybody's found those little things yet. So I kind of don't want to say it, but it's like, wow, you guys got good. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
All right, and going on to Mr. Vandy.
I'm doing well. Obviously we spent the 4th together and it was definitely a blast. I really haven't been playing much of anything. Probably Unite is the thing I'm probably playing the most, but like I haven't really played Tears of the Kingdom much still. I'm very, very, very far behind. The desire to play is diminishing a little bit, but it's still probably a top 5 game of all time for me, and it's been a blast. It's definitely one of the best games, but it's really just whatever I'm playing on stream is really the only thing I'm playing. Everything else is either work or social life, or I'm conked out in my bed.
We have till 2030 to complete it, because that's when the next Zelda game's coming.
That's when the next Zelda game's coming out.
Sure.
I got time.
You put it like that.
He's got to go in spoiler free though, because if the end gets spoiled for him, then I
still don't know really anything about the end at all. Like I don't.
Neither
know.
do I.
Much.
I've been able to stay away from it. All I can say is, as a seasoned, and Paul can chime in too, is seasoned Zelda players, if you're kind of like don't care about side quests and things like that, and there's some people who don't, you can always just play through the main story that'll take you about. I don't know. What do you say, Paul? About maybe a few days? Or
from start to finish?
Yeah, the main story.
Like a week and a half.
Yeah, it'll take you about a week. And I think that's the part you really want to know, because it's actually kind of interesting.
And I can technically fight Ganon now.
Yeah.
Technically you could, but but you're not mad at him yet. You gotta watch all. You gotta do all the other stuff so you can find out why you're mad.
I'm always mad at him, Joyce. I'm always mad at him. That's my secret.
I'm always angry.
There's Victoria's secret, and then there's Vandy's.
There's
secret.
My secret. Mine is that I'm always mad at that mother trucker. That's who I'm mad at.
Oh my!
So have you seen have you gotten all the tiers yet, or are you on the way?
Oh no, I got all those.
Okay.
I got all those.
Oh, he's mad already. He's mad. He is mad.
I got all those. I'm ticked.
Just go beat up Ganon then. I'm the one. Me and Paul are the ones
it's kind of over. I don't want to be over.
He deserves it. Anyway,
I don't want it to be over yet.
Chat, peer pressure.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, I can relate to Vandy because whenever I see the credits on a game, I have a hard time going back to them. To the game.
Like definitely, like I like 100%ing games, and like with Mario I don't have a problem with doing that and stuff, but like for Zelda, it's like when I'm done, like a lot of the times when you do the side quest, you like get better armor, but I'm like, why would I care? Because
you also get more, it's just more fleshed out stuff that's going on. And then what I do appreciate about the Koroks, as annoying as I know they can be and everything, it kind of ensures that you see every part of the world, every little secret they put in for you. You don't miss anything. I'm still finding areas, and I'm like, how did I miss this? So that's what I like. And then there's other things you can collect as well that kind of help with your little friends that come along the way. When you're in the depths and they just kind of all of a sudden they just appear in front of you, and then you shake and scream, and your controller jumps out of your hand. Wait, that's me. I'm sorry.
Blue Moon is right in the comments. I only have 4 Koroks, so
that's okay. You're playing it right.
I'll leave it for the very end, because what I did was I completed the main story first. And then I'm now playing side quests. I'm almost done with all the side quests, but I'll probably do the Koroks for the end, just so that I can go, more exploring and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then I kind of like low key driving around Hyrule. But for me, when I go defeat Ganon and everything, there's a whole ritual I have to have and everything. So, you know, I got
dim the lights.
I'm very serious.
Dim the lights. Turn up the stereo.
She lights candles across the room.
Locks the door.
They have to be aromatherapy candles, like the one with the scent, really strong.
I already got the aroma diffuser with the peppermint. So I already got that.
There you go.
And I do have to do that. And I have fun in the dye shop because my Link is the most fashionable Link out of everybody's. I don't care what you say. But when it comes to Ganon, I said the hero always wears green. I know that we have champion suits and we're moving on. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm old school. We always dye his outfit green. I said, I'm going to dismiss all my little buddies that have been with me. And it's like, nope, it's always me and Ganon. So... And then I always go rolling in on a Pola or on Epona. So yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a thing.
Just let everybody know, this is not a spoiler. It's just whenever you're ready to go fight Ganon, that's the last thing you're gonna do. So don't go if you're not ready, or you know, unless you are like me, you want to do it, kick his butt, and then go back into the game later on after you defeat him. Because once you're in there where he is, you can't get out. There is no way to get out of that area. So make sure that you are not in there unless you are ready to defeat him. I found out the hard way because I wanted to escape that place a couple times and I couldn't. I even killed myself a couple times. Did not work. So,
I have avoided that area altogether. Yeah. Other than a couple of light routes, it's like, okay, yeah, I got the light route. Okay, warp out.
Yeah, so whenever you find out, oh, Ganon's this way. All right, I'm having the opposite way.
Go
the opposite
way.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Linz. Hey, Linz, how are you? And what have you been playing?
Hello. As per already seen and heard, we are sharing the same room, so therefore we have been together. But truthfully, I'm kind of in the same boat of like, aside from stuff I've been streaming, I don't really think there's much else I've played other than like Star Rail and Unite, which is just like my comfort games, I guess, at this point. But it's been fun. It's been good times. And my personal Zelda victory is that I learned what a Korok was a couple weeks ago. So, you know, feel like I'm slowly just like understanding more and more.
Yeah, I mean that's pure lore right there. You know what Korok is? It's lore.
And they're little magical piles of poo.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Magical.
Wait, have you turned any of the Koroks in yet, Vandy?
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
So you've seen the magical dance that
I have definitely seen the and then they all jump down. Yeah, I've seen all that.
Yeah.
But I want Linz to see it.
Yeah, you have to see it.
Linz, it's magical.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Okay, so
I gotta go collect a lot more.
Where's the magical pile of poo dance?
I will show you.
You will.
I will show her. I'll show her.
That's your homework.
Or I can look it up on YouTube.
You shall see it. The magical pile of poo. Anyway,
I come back and let's talk about that. Yeah.
Anyway, so me, I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom. I'll say like a month now. I've been away from the game for a month. But I've been going back to Mario ever since Mario Wonder trailer came out. I'm a Mario fan. Like the very first game I've ever got was Mario Brothers. Playing Mario with my dad when I was 8 and 9, and that's my latest memory for Nintendo. My very first Nintendo he gave me when I was 8 or 9 years old. He brought this box to me, and I was like, "What is that?" And then he hooked it up, and we played like literally spent overnight playing Super Mario Brothers until we beat the game together, and it was just best experience. So I'm a Mario fan first, everything else next, you know. So watching Mario Wonder and seeing how far Mario Wonder has come when it comes to, you know, for some it's a side-scrolling game, but when I saw it, I saw a new animation, I saw a new face, new reactions, new art form, new sound, new style. So it's like I saw everything come together because to me, of course, my first Mario was the side-scrolling one, Super Mario Brothers on the NES, and see how far side-scrolling Mario has come to Mario Wonder. You know, it got me emotional when I saw that. So I went back to play Mario. I'm not playing, believe it or not, I went back to Mario Maker. That's the one place where you can play all the Marios, you know, all the Marios, in one game, Super Mario Maker, and you go online, you play other people's levels because you don't know what you're gonna play. You go like that, and then all of a sudden a level comes up, and it's from Super Mario something the one the Wii U one, the what do you call that one?
I get them all confused.
Yeah, I know. What was that?
The Wii U 2D Mario?
Super Mario
Bros. U?
Wii U, right? The new Super Mario's U, right? That's the one with also Luigi in it.
Why are all the names the same?
Super Mario Bros. U plus
That's
Luigi.
the only one I skipped.
Ooh, what a mouthful.
Yeah.
And didn't Luigi have his own game?
Yeah,
on Wii U?
Separately with the cool green case.
Yeah.
And then they had it as like a DLC that you could buy to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My favorite Mario is Bowser's Fury, and it's a 3D world one. 3D world, it's 3D. But playing Mario side scrolling is just always something from my childhood. So I've been playing a lot of Mario. I just, I went back to my 9 to 5, or nine almost 10 hours. But went back to my regular job, right? So between YouTube and my 9 to 5 and finding time to play, I think Mario is the one that kind of is my comfort zone and my little corner area. So turn it on, it's right there, and I play that. So that's what I've been doing over the past couple of I think the past month, ever since the announcement came out. That's basically it. But yeah, everybody had a great 4th of July, I'm hoping, right? I see Randy and Linz had a great 4th of July together. Hello. And Paul and
Joycey.
I'm having a brain fart, guys. I'm having a brain fart.
This is what happens when you get old, Vandy.
Right.
I'm already feeling it.
It happens to me. Let me tell you, it happens to me when I get emotional because it triggered something. When I talked about Mario, I thought about my dad. My dad's not with me. My dad is far away, and I can't see him. So I'm like, I got emotional. So I'm like, got stuck there. So I'm not gonna.
My dad got me into video games, so we would play Super Mario on the NES together. And then I would fuss at him because it's like, Daddy, you're not going the right way. No, you can't go that way. You're too slow. Why do you keep dying? Yeah, that was. And then he would just give me the controller and say, okay, baby girl, I'll just watch you play. No!
Yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about, Josie. I'm not going to forget you. I'm never going to forget you. But yeah, we're here. There's a lot going on in the world of Nintendo. There's a lot of news out there, especially Pokemon. I want to see if Andy and Linz caught this news, because to me, I was just, man, I've never laughed so hard at a piece of news. And I hope that you guys caught it. If not, I'll bring it up because it's in your corner when it comes to news. Actually, let's go ahead and start with your corner, Randy and Linz. What's going on in your corner?
I think we got to start with you, Big Cat. I'm not gonna be waiting to hear the news that you said you've never laughed harder, and then you're like, but you guys start. You guys, I think you got to tell us.
The thing is that the news has to do with Pokemon.
Right.
I think we're just entirely different, like, news spheres. I feel like your news is like real insane news that we're just not aware of, because I was ready to talk about regionals. I was ready to talk about Ohio and everything like that just happened.
Okay, I'll start.
I don't know if we know your news.
I'll make it part of mine. Make it part of mine then. It's
no, just go.
Go.
You've got the ball rolling.
Okay.
Do it.
So, Pokemon Company decided that it was the best time, 2023. I don't know why. In 2023, they decided that it was the best time to go open up a brand new, which is not new because that's existed for a while and it's been dying because, of course, it's the same issue. A brand new forum for fans, right?
You're talking about that. Okay. All right.
You guys
keep going, Mike. You got it.
Okay.
You guys want to take it from here, or you want to?
Nope. I mean, unless you want to. I'm just kind of curious to see where Mike goes with this.
I mean, I'm not gonna cut any corners. I want to see how it is, or what's on there, and then even the the categories that I saw that some Pokemon fans created. Should I?
I mean, like in hindsight, it was kind of like a fun idea for Pokemon, I guess. They just didn't realize what people do when they have free will on the internet sometimes.
They just forgot it was 2023.
Like, yeah. So I don't have a picture pulled up, but I definitely know what you're talking about. If you want to read off some of the semi-okay categories.
I mean, yeah.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'm thoroughly interested.
Okay. So all right. So again, Pokemon Company opened this forum. I see their hearts. I mean, getting fans together talking about Pokemon. That is cool. It's awesome, right? But trolls, they're everywhere, and they took over the forums. They started putting all types of topics. One of them, who is the hottest Pokemon? Okay, let's start there. Who is the hottest Pokemon? All right. The other one,
it's your podcast, Big Cat. It's whatever you want to say.
I'm gonna go ahead and read it here so I can be I don't want to.
I feel like I'm gonna get on my soapbox after you read these.
Yeah.
So what's okay? I'll say a few of them. All right. So which girl would you like to tickle torment?
Yeah, it's just
that's one topic.
Poor choice.
All right.
Do I need to go pray?
They need some moderators in there.
Now I think they need Jesus at this point.
Yeah. Which Pokemon is the hottest? Okay. I mean.
Yep.
I am immeasurably attracted to Garden.
So pretty much what it seems like is that Pokemon created these forums, which is cool because obviously they want to get people talking about Pokemon. But I think their mistake was that it seems like anyone can create a category so that then, like, if it was like, what is the strongest? If someone creates that category, then people can comment underneath it.
Yep.
But obviously, when people have free will to create a category, they then ask weird questions. Or I guess the last one wasn't a question. It was just him just stating a fact.
I am.
Like, there's not even
immeasurably
attracted to carnivore. Like, it's just... So again, good mindset, but I think Pokemon Company's really going to learn from this mistake and be like, hey, not all people are sane, so they will take over this.
Yeah. So, I mean, me versus back, that's one of them.
Yes.
Another one is who in the world thought this was a good idea? That was a good one. That was the best one. There's others. I'm gonna leave it there. Yes, leave it there. But that made news. That's actually covered by Video Games Chronicles. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, yeah. After that, that's part of it. But what I wanted to talk about in my corner was more like Nintendo stuff. Nintendo. You know what? I'm gonna give it to. Why compose myself after that section?
Right.
I'm gonna pass it over to Vandy, continue and Lynn to continue on the Pokemon train, and then we'll come back to me.
I'm also traumatized.
Yeah.
What if we just all hold hands and we kumbaya for a moment?
All right, let me.
Yep.
I mean,
there we go.
On a lighter note from Pokemon, where there aren't weird questions being asked on an official Pokemon forum, there were regionals, and it was actually kind of a big deal. There was a lot going on. I'll let Linz talk about it because Henry and I just talked a little bit about the forums, and if she ends up maybe missing something or not knowing something that I do, I'll share it as well. But Linz, regionals.
Linz? regionals. Well, hi, I'm Linz, your regionals representative. Regionals happened in Ohio. Everyone's been counting down the days for it. It's been a lot of things that like a lot of Pokemon content creators ended up going to. I'm honestly kind of sad we didn't go, but you know, hindsight is 2020. And you know what? At that current moment in time, I looked at Ohio and said, nah, you know what? If that might be my own mistake. But at least in the world of Unite, there was a really big, I don't even want to call it an upset, but it was kind of like this this dark horse that's basically always been in the Unite community, that it was like a fan favorite, like it would go far, but just not far enough. They ended up sweeping the entire thing, like undermining like the original world champions that won Worlds last year. And another dark horse that was in the race, conveniently also, they're named after two different channels. So TTV ended up winning the whole thing. But Team YouTube is another dark horse that was always in the running. And they basically had to reach a certain part in the tournament in order to go to Worlds. And it was kind of like you either make it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like this really big celebration where Team YouTube ended up doing what they needed to do to end up going to Worlds. And then TTV won the whole thing and is going to Worlds now. So we officially know, as of this tournament, who is representing all of North America when it comes to Worlds next month, which is super duper exciting. So we kind of finally got the final building blocks in place, because for some reason, United States just decided we were going to be the last people to submit all of our representatives of all countries and regions that exist in the world. So now that we're finally on the same page as everyone else, we can finally keep moving forward. I do know when Worlds exactly is. I know it's in August. I think it's
August like 18th.
It's the first half of August, if I believe so, correct. But it was super awesome to see. And then on Sunday they had the little kids do VGC, TCG, a whole bunch of stuff. So it was really, really cool. August 3rd is what someone in chat said. So
Awesome.
that could be correct. I knew it was the first half of August. But it was super cool to see. They broadcasted everything. There was a lot of hype and a lot of excitement. And a lot of people said it was the biggest turnout they've had for Pokemon in like a really, really long time. And it kind of cemented the fact that competitive Pokemon is definitely like not going anywhere. So it's really, really cool to see that it's definitely a spectacle to kind of experience. So there's not a lot of turnouts aside from like COD communities, I would probably say, that have turnouts of that caliber. So it's really cool to see that we're alive and kicking, and that events can hopefully continue to be bigger and better. Because if this is where we're starting at now with this turnout, it's really cool to imagine what it's going to be a year or two from now when they, you know, build around that. So
yeah, that's awesome.
That's what I got.
Very cool. Very cool.
Did I miss anything?
I mean, like small details, I guess, of like to win, like just like small little things that kind of happen as well. Like to win TCG, the winner actually won in 2 turns, which is like an unheard of thing. Yeah. Apparently a luck of the draw plus like a couple abilities that he was able to do with his cards. My buddy who went said that after the winner won with only 2 moves, everyone like erupted, standing ovation craziness. And like TCG is definitely known, but it's kind of like people are probably more collectors, not gamers of TCG, the trading card game. Yeah. So like the fact that a lot of people were standing and going crazy, and like there was this really big I guess like turnout even for just the championship, that kind of is like giving a lot of hope to a lot of like the actual TCG players, not just the trading card collectors. Like hopefully this can kind of push us forward and there can be more people in the game. And then for VGC Junior, the kid who always won again. I think his name's Avery, who's known as like the best battler in the world, which is kind of crazy. And he's just like this little cutie and stuff like that. So yeah, it was really good. People said it was a blast and like way bigger of a turnout than they had thought. I think it was like 3,500 people or something. I don't remember the correct number, but it was a lot of people, and they said it was a blast, and they're like, we're only just getting started. So it's gonna be cool to see.
Have you seen a video of what your friend described?
No, I hadn't seen the video. I don't know if there was like a video that's been posted yet.
Yeah, right.
That's how you immortalize it. You know, it's like,
yeah,
you know,
I'm sure it's on the broadcast.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there was a single moment, unless there was like an equipment malfunction that wasn't captured in some way. I'm sure there were overhead cameras and different things like that, to where they can project it onto big screens, and I'm sure they were recording it as well. I mean, they had to have. I would be shocked if they didn't.
I mean, they were broadcasting it like they were Unite.
Yeah. So I'm sure. I mean, it's definitely somewhere, and I bet that goes viral pretty quickly once they probably get the edits down for sure.
Yeah. That is awesome. That's so awesome. Now I want to see it.
I know.
That's crazy. All right, let's take it over. Paul Gale.
News?
Unicorn, you got numbers for us? Number.
Tomorrow there will be some numbers coming out of Japan from
nice.
Famitsu, but well, this is kind of news. It's just more along the lines of something just impressive, and that is Tears of the Kingdom's continued success despite new games coming out. We saw that in the UK, an area where Nintendo's always performed all right, but not necessarily the top dog. Sony has been higher in UK more often than not. And Final Fantasy 16 came out. Obviously, it won its first week, and then after, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom went back up.
Yeah.
Which usually, it's like in the box office. You have a new movie come out, it does well for a few weeks. When that other new movie comes out, it performs better, and they're both going down, but the former first place never beats the new first place. It just, it doesn't really happen. Video games kind of often like that too. Even Nintendo's evergreens that are always on the top 10, it's probably not going to be like, oh, that 8th one all of a sudden won again after a new big game comes out. It just might stay there. But Tears of the Kingdom, it's going back up after Street Fighter comes out. It's going back up after Final Fantasy coming up. So it's showing really strong legs, and I think it's going to blow people's expectations away when Nintendo releases its quarter financial results in August. I know it passed 15 million in 17 days. Nintendo officially announced 10 million in the first 3 days. So at this point, could you be looking at 20 million by like now point? Pokemon did it in a comparable amount of time, but Pokemon, Scarlet and Pokemon Violet had the holidays. Zelda did it. But true. Zelda is having a really big word of mouth, like almost never before. Maybe since Breath of the Wild, really. So I don't know if it's news, but it's just basically everywhere where games are being sold, you see Zelda actually going back up to 1 after having come down. And that's
it's just me rebuying all the games again.
Just Joycey.
Every 2 weeks, I'm going to buy 50,000 copies.
Yeah, just does it? Will that include digital sales, Paul?
And they don't even count the digital, so it's actually more impressive.
That's
which
insane.
Is even crazier. Good point. Because like when it happens in Famitsu and it happens in the NPDs and in the UK charts, this is Nintendo physical alone reclaiming the throne of other competitors, digital and physical. So
yeah, I mean, and I love seeing that Breath of the Wild is climbing up there and making top 10 lists again, just because of Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of people want to, they disregard Breath of the Wild before, and now they're seeing how Tears of the Kingdom is such a big game, such a highly praised one. They're going back and buying Breath of the Wild, playing that for the first time, and then moving on to Tears of the Kingdom. Some people are taking Tears of the Kingdom, playing that, beating it, and then going back and playing Breath of the Wild for the first time. So that's pretty cool, and that's amazing for the Zelda franchise and for fans, because I mean, it's awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it over to talking about Zelda, right? Segue for Zelda for Doctor of Zelda lore, Dr. DJ Joycey J.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm just as excited because I've always loved Zelda, but let's keep it real. Zelda was the $7 to $10 million seller, and that was mainly because of Twilight Princess. Because as much as I love Twilight Princess, I'm not going to shy away from my criticisms of it. This art design was an overcorrection from Wind Waker because fans at the time were so angry. I mean, angry. that Wind Waker had such a toony style. And personally, it was kind of a turn off, but I wasn't angry about it. I was like, oh, it's not my thing, but okay, I'll play it. And the game is Wind Waker is excellent, and it has Dragon Roost theme, which anybody who knows me knows that's my favorite Zelda thing. So seeing it literally sell like gangbusters, because I didn't think Breath of the Wild was going to go as hard as it did. I really didn't. It's not because I don't have faith in it or faith in the Zelda franchise. It's just that I didn't expect Switch to kick off that big. I thought it was going to be a really strong start. And then, because at the very, very beginning, remember, we only had, 1-2 Switch, which nobody was interested in. And apparently nobody is interested in it now. So really all we had was Zelda. Let's just be honest. All we had was Zelda. And coming out the gate, of course, all the fans bought it within the first few weeks. And then just seeing the numbers keep climbing and always in the top 10 somewhere, or even top 5 a lot of the time, was just really refreshing for me as a fan. So for as far as news in my corner, I guess one day, guys, you're gonna be shocked, because I'm actually gonna finish Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm gonna be like, guys, I played something else. You're all gonna fall out of your chairs. Like, you actually play other games? Yeah, I totally do. But what, Lance?
I'm just laughing.
So just small little update, little patch update. I think it's 1.2.0. Less duplication. Anybody who's been playing Tears of the Kingdom knows that the recession has somehow made it into the game. I don't know how. And I'm not one of those people. I play within the parameters of what the devs give me in the game, because that's what makes it fun, and that's what can make the challenge. Yeah. However, I needed money. So I duplicated a bunch of diamonds and then sold like 10 of them. And I was like, okay, cool. Okay, that was very, very early game. I didn't duplicate anything else, but there's even less ways to do that now. So they've patched out a lot of the known cheats. And of course, they did a lot of stability updates. And there were parts of certain side quests that were getting players completely stuck just right there, like they couldn't progress. So those have been updated as well. So that's the good part. And then one more fun thing, I found out, and I post this on Twitter, but if you for those who feel like, Tears of the Kingdom isn't much of a challenge, I've died way more times in this game than I have in any other Zelda game. I think I died. I stopped dying about 100 hours ago, but for the first 200 and something hours, I was dying. It was great. It was tough. But then the other night, I was in the depths, and then all of a sudden the wind kicked up and the music started playing. I said, hey, that's Colgera. I said, I fought him like 5 times already. It's like, the light route's right over there. Okay, that's distracting me. Let me just fight this boss real quick. I can fight him in my sleep. It's very easy. And then I'm gonna go get the light route. That was not wise. That was not wise at all.
The depths are a different world. They're different.
Fought Colgera, who had already fought like several other places in the depths, and of course in the main Wind Temple. Yeah. And got my hiney handed to me because I couldn't see him at all. I could tell kind of where he was, and and then your little buddy is with you, Tulin is with you all the time, and everything. And Tulin's not giving me all the encouragement that he does in the actual temple. So I'm just shooting arrows at air. I dove into the ground. Yeah. It took me about a good 8 or 9 minutes to fight him. That's usually a 3-minute fight. Wow. So if you want a challenge, no matter how many hearts you have, fight all the bosses in the dark.
Right. I now that you bring it up, that would have been I don't think they've never put that feature inside a Zelda game. Let me know, because you guys know more than I do when it comes to that. They have never set a difficulty level in a Zelda game, right? They've never said, okay, play the easy mode, play medium mode or hard mode.
It's usually an afterthought. It usually comes with a patch or DLC
master mode. But like for example, Final Fantasy, they gave me options: easy mode, medium mode, whatever, or adventure, or hardcore mode, whatever. They always give you some options in RPGs. But one of the things that they could have done in Tears of the Kingdom, although if they would have done that, they would have also spoiled the game, is give you the ability to control how much or how less your helpers help you. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm here in a battle and I'm trying to find this one because I have to go near them and then touch them and press A so that I can activate their ability. And this lady's over there just like sitting down. Hey, what are you doing over there? We're fighting over here. You know?
Yeah.
Rishu seems like she runs away from you.
He runs away. They all run away. I'm like, Tulin.
No, Tulin loves you. You are Uncle Link. Okay, Tulin loves you. He will fly right next to you. He's always ready to gust wind and everything, and he will beat up anything. He'll spot enemies before you do. But Rishu be running away, and I'm like, girlfriend, we over here.
Have you ever activated Inobo by accident?
Yes.
And destroyed something that you didn't want to destroy? I'm like,
he took out a bunch of bomb flowers on me once by accident. It was totally by accident. And then I blew myself up.
My thing is hopping on Minoru, the robot. Accidentally.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. She's great in the depths though, because it's like when you just need to just go straight instead of going around all the gloom and everything. You know, sometimes I'll just go through the gloom because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a light route anyway, and I'll just stop there. Yeah. But when you're not going to a light route, she's great to just walk right over the gloom because it doesn't affect you there, and then she'll fight. So, yeah, it's still an odd. Minoru's kind of odd. I love the story of her, but having her as a team member, it's kind of like odd. It's just odd.
Well, that's awesome. That is awesome news. Thank you, Dr. DJ Joshi J. I said it right this time for sharing.
Thank you to my coffee soup mug.
News in my corner. It's a little bittersweet because one of the greats it'll be one of the greats with, I think, for everybody here, retired, right? I think after almost 50 years working for Nintendo, working side by side with Shigeru Miyamoto, and he was responsible for creating a whole bunch of games. Okay, in those games, we have a link to the past. Joyce's favorite Zelda game, you know, Star Fox. We have
play that.
Yeah, Star Fox. Of course, Majora's Mask, and of course, and the game that everybody's talking about is F-Zero. That was him. And Miyamoto, designed the game. He came up with it, and this guy made it. You know, his name is Takaya Imamura, and he retired from Nintendo. He was up there. He was like one of the big ones of developers. Knew everything within the you know. So, Video Game Chronicles got a hold of an interview. I'm not sure if they did it or somebody else, but they got a hold of an interview with him. The first thing he confirmed there that you know, with what he said, there's no game for F-Zero in the works right now, you know, and then he kind of planted why the F-Zero brand has been where it is, like kind of stuck, and there's not been an F-Zero game made in over 20 years. So, you know, the reason why he gave this is because they said to bring F-Zero back right now will be very expensive, you know, and Nintendo is too busy working on their main games, the money makers, right? The Marios, the Zeldas, Pokemon, and what other game? I'm forgetting. Mario Kart, you know, Mario Kart, and Mario Kart was basically brought up as one of the main reasons why F-Zero is basically non-existent right now when it comes to a brand new game. You know, we have X-Zero JX. People are clamoring for that to come as an AC mode. Not sure if that's going to happen. Maybe that'll make it to GameCube as for NSO in the future. But yeah, he retired, and he spoke about the F-Zero and why is it so difficult to make that game. Is because all the developer companies that they currently have, and I love hearing this part, are busy making better games. That means that there are games being made right now out there by not only the main Nintendo core developers, but by other party developers, other companies like Sega and others that Nintendo trust on making first party games. They're all busy making games, and there's just no time and money to dedicate to an F-Zero game when Nintendo's just main focus is on Mario and how great Mario Kart has been performing. I mean, Mario Kart has not left the top 10 since it came out, I think, right? 8 Deluxe. You know, it's in every top 10 when it comes to racing games and Nintendo games. And even when you put them together, all games together in top 10s, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is always up there, you know, against everything. So I'm pretty sure Nintendo is super happy with that game. And of course, working like crazy on the next Mario Kart because they have to top this one way or another. This game has been a while. It's been out for the life of the Switch too, right? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because Mario Kart 8 is from the Wii U. So the deluxe version became the Wii's the Switch's version of Mario Kart 8 Mario Kart series. And so that's kind of in a way bad news for F-Zero. Some argue, and they have the right point, that our F-Zero is not like Mario Kart, right? Mario Kart is you can call Mario Kart this cartoonish arcade game which F-Zero is also like that, but it's a little more serious when it comes to the racing and like the form factor of what it is. It's a fast game. We have bigger characters. Mario Kart 8 is just basically Nintendo characters all together. You know, F-Zero had their own main characters, and so that I spoke about it yesterday in the video, or this morning, I can't remember when, but that's basically why it's good to know why things happen in the world of Nintendo when we have a developer this big kind of come out and just talk about it freely, you know, on how Nintendo works in the back end. I mean, trust me, he works side by side with Miyamoto on so many games, okay, and he was basically the developer designer. He worked on mechanics for Nintendo for over 30 years, I think. F-Zero, Star Fox, Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, you know. Let's see what else he did here. F-Zero X, you know, and he was like under Shigeru Miyamoto's wing, so that's how close he was to all these major games. He had a lot of inside information, a lot of the whys you create. Some games didn't make it. A lot of the, you know, so it's very cool. This interview is in Video Games Chronicles. If you guys want to check it out, because I do recommend it. It talks about his life, and I think it's his life is worth honoring with all of the beautiful work that he has done. A lot of the credit goes to Miyamoto. Miyamoto's an idea man, you know what I mean? And he is brilliant. But then there are the developers who actually put the game into work, and they actually create the games. And Imamura was one of them, and he's retiring. So he says he doesn't want to. There are some developers that retire and they continue making games. There are others that retire and they never look at a video console game again. Why? Because they literally spend every hour, and that I've heard from Japanese developers. They are so passionate, especially for Nintendo. They're so passionate and so into their work that they don't take time for even family. It's crazy, you know. We heard this with the creator of Smash Bros. Ultimately, he was presenting his last game. He felt like he needed a break, right? Like, because it was just so much time developing that he needed time for himself and to get back and to start. I think I read something. He was trying to start his life now. Like, wow, what? You know, I'm like, wow, that's how invested these developers get. And yeah, it's sad to see him go, but also I'm happy that they get to at least, you know, now enjoy what they have and they leave a legacy like so many games like this behind for us to enjoy and to love. So don't be sad about F-Zero. I'm pretty sure that if Nintendo ever decides, that's one of the things he said. He says, if one of these other companies out there, Western companies that Nintendo has never worked with, that is willing to work with Nintendo, comes and approaches Nintendo and says, hey, we're willing to work with you, right? and as an introductory kind of offer or relationship building thing, they do it at a lower price, right? They at a lower cost. Then that's a good thing for the developer company, because they get to establish a brand new connection with Nintendo, and Nintendo gives them that project, and maybe, hey, if you do great in that project, then we'll give you more projects to work with. That's the only way that he sees the game moving forward. If another company comes in and says, let's work together and we work on this, we'll make you this and that, and we'll present this game for you, you know? So companies out there, if you guys are developers, look for Nintendo. They're looking for help. They need help. There's a lot of games out there that need to be remade. People are looking forward to, right? I hope that we do get, this is not F-Zero, but I'm hoping for my Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door. You know, I hope that that game does get. I know that it was a rumor, but so was F-Zero GX, and now we have some type of real confirmation that that game is not being made or has not been touched since F-Zero GX came out, and that was for the GameCube. Am I right? GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2003-ish.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's basically the news. It's bittersweet because we're honoring a developer that has given his life to create such an amazing games. But then again, there's so much to be done, and there's not enough hands to work with, you know. So hopefully we get more hands on that. That's my news in the corner, and let's move on to today's main topic. It's gonna be fun. Nobody knows here what we're talking about because I didn't share it too much, but it's gonna be fun because Nintendo, I'm gonna bring it up, and I want you guys to just tell me what you guys feel and think about all the things that are happening, right? Nintendo it's the first time Nintendo is bringing. I hear a lot of people, oh no, Nintendo Life has been around for a while. Yeah, but this is the first time they come to the United States. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is the first time they do it in Washington, in Seattle, Washington, and they have a convention for family and people, and they're doing this lottery. Okay, it's a lottery. It's not just I'm gonna go there, get a ticket, and go. No, they have a lottery. All right, for you to go with your family. Guess what? I entered the lottery with my family. They just sent me a denial email. I didn't get in. Like, I'm like, thank you for participating in our Nintendo Live lottery for tickets. Unfortunately, you were not selected. Please look forward to more announcements soon. I'm like, man, another college I'm going to, you know? So it's a lottery. That's the one thing. Now Nintendo is going also to Gamescom. The last time Nintendo went to Gamescom, what happened, Paul?
New hardware?
Yep, Nintendo Switch Lite, right? The Nintendo Switch Lite was at Gamescom, right? Now, Nintendo will be present at Tokyo Game Show. And Tokyo Game Show here, I'm reading here from I think this is a Video Games Chronicle. No, that's not it. No, Nintendo Live. My beautiful people over at Nintendo Live. I think this is Nintendo Live. Yeah, Nintendo Live. Okay, so Nintendo Live, Tokyo Game Show. Nintendo is going to be present, but they're not going to be present on the floor. They're not going to have that Nintendo's Versus. Okay, they're going to be present in a bigger way. What way? It says here, will Nintendo have anything to do with the show? Well, probably. That's the interviewer. I'm like,
tease.
Yeah, the guy that interviewed him, like, well, Nintendo, because the guy is working with Tokyo Game Show. Will Nintendo have anything to do with the show? Well, probably, but we'll just have to wait and find out on a later date.
Tease.
I'm gonna leave right there. I'm gonna push it up to you guys now. You guys, whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Paul's better with this, so I'm gonna go. I want Paul to go first, and I want to piggyback.
It's so hard to not go into this like overhyped and too passionate, because that's all that I have is, you know, love and respect and wanting more from Nintendo, which you could kind of blindly look into all of this and read too much into it. But even if you like objectively take it apart and said like, okay, I wasn't this, Nintendo fanboy, and you were just telling someone, hey, so in July of 2019, Nintendo showed off the Nintendo Switch Lite, and then it came out a couple months later. All right. In July of 2021, Nintendo showed off the Nintendo Switch OLED model, and then it came out a little after. Okay. In July 2023, do you think there's a trend? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. There is a Nintendo Live that only happens once every few years. 2018, 2022, both in Japan. They're having one for the first time in the West Coast. Okay. Nintendo doesn't always participate in Gamescom in Germany, but they are this year. Okay. Around this time, there's also Tokyo Game Show, which looks like Nintendo does have some involvement in it. Okay. If you just looked at all those things objectively and gave them to someone who wasn't a crazy fan and asked, do you think it sounds possible that new hardware could be shown? I mean, what would they say? I think, yeah, it sounds like it's a good possibility. I'm saying yes, it's a sign. I could feel it, but I can't quite jump on that bandwagon because there's been more times than not that things look like they're lining up well and they don't. Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe around the 40th anniversary of Donkey Kong, Nintendo's going to have a new game. No. Oh, maybe for the 20th anniversary of blank. No. Oh, it would really make sense if Ocarina of Time for the 25th had a, and so oftentimes it makes a lot of sense. Logic prevails, but it doesn't happen. So that's where I'm kind of, trying to gauge on that professional side, what have I seen that works versus not? What's objectively there that kind of is nudging into this corner? And then the fan in me trying to say, well, what do you sort of hope/want? I don't know. I'm still, to be safe, Team 2024, but I would be very happy to be wrong. And like, I'm starting to go more on, I don't omit this fall from being possible. I could totally see Nintendo showing off new hardware. I mean, it's happened twice in July. So like this week or next week would be that week if Nintendo drops a video announcement. If they just have introducing the Nintendo Switch 2, stay tuned for more at Nintendo Live, Gamescom, whatever. Like that would be a way to do it, get some hype up. But if they show off a system now, it can't come out next year because it would hurt holiday sales. And even if they drop the price, it still wouldn't be the best. So that means that thing would have to come out like this holiday. Yeah. And then you would still be able to drop the price of the OG, or maybe not drop the price. Like maybe this thing is significantly more expensive that it's not for everyone. And that's okay. Nintendo Switch is far from dead. It has a, awesome holiday season and some big heavy hitters in 2024. So maybe Nintendo's not worried about, maybe it's too expensive. No, they have an introductory model being the base Nintendo Switch that it's going to carry along just fine. So yeah, I'm starting to shift a little bit more towards 2023 could be very possible.
Vandy has lore.
Okay, yeah. I have something to kind of piggyback off of that. But before I say anything, again, for everyone listening, take everything that we say kind of like with a grain of salt. None of us
truckload of salt.
None of us work really for Nintendo. Paul's the closest. But like we're not trying to say that like our word is law. We are not trying to do anything. But as Paul kind of said, we're kind of the hype men. We want probably like too much from Nintendo at times and stuff. And so we might read too much into things, but there's an interesting thing on Twitter that I actually specifically liked because I wanted to bring it up on this podcast. And it's pretty much kind of backs up exactly what Paul was saying. But for I guess probably more for Mike and Paul, when in terms of like the Nintendo sphere, when I say NX, do you guys know what that is or was?
Yep, that's the code name for the Nintendo Switch before it came out.
Yes,
I still like that name.
Yeah, well, good because they are using it again.
Allegedly,
in the developer portal.
Yeah,
Nintendo's developer portal, there is now an option for an NX 2. And then you're like, okay, well, what if that's just Nintendo Switch? There's also an option for a Nintendo Switch, a Wii U, and a Nintendo 3DS, and one more that's cut off. So it can be an older console. It has to be potentially, again, grain of salt, something new, which then reiterates the fact, are they going to, if this is already in the developer portal, are they going to announce something? And if they are, is it going to continue the trend of July of these 2 or so years apart that they're going to then announce it in a big way at a con in America? And then are they going to announce it for holiday season? And then does Mike and Linz not have to wear onesies anymore? Like, it seems like that just reiterates this whole entire point. Now, again, grain of salt, that seemed like a very trustworthy source as well. I'm not going to name anyone, but I remember seeing that. And as Paul was talking, I was like, this is exactly pretty much like what I read in this article. So I don't 100% know. Maybe this is me just being like, oh yeah, this is just exactly what I want, and this is absolutely going to happen. I'm totally not overhyping it. I'm smart. This is going to happen. Yeah. But that's just a whole nother point, a whole nother thing that other people are finding that's backing up these exact claims and these exact trends that we've been seeing.
Okay. Now this image, is it a complete image or is it just a little section, a screenshot of something?
It's definitely a screenshot, but you can see a lot more than what you would like think. It's not like this blurred out, fuzzy Photoshopping looking thing. It has Mario in the photo, and then it has recognizable, I guess is a good word I could say, like a recognizable UI.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem like it's been tampered with.
Okay.
Like, again, grain of salt. This could just be interesting because it's Twitter.
I mean, it's good to bring up the discussion because it's, it's out there already, so it's good to talk about it. And if they did NX for Switch, NX2, this could very look like they're keeping the Switch branding. You know, they don't want to really say that out loud, but they just want to, switch to, we'll switch something, or maybe not even a number, maybe just something else, or maybe they'll keep the Switch branding moving forward and just go Nintendo Switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moving forward, just like PlayStation has done with their consoles. I know Xbox has been all over the place when it comes to
they don't make any sense with 360 one
but,
just like different things like that. But I mean, to be like a negative Nancy, does this sound really like a mistake Nintendo would make?
Depends whose account. I have a developer account for Nintendo. I haven't seen anything on my end. Maybe I don't have a clearance for it. Maybe it came from a screenshot from a higher developer company where there's an employee who has access to developer screenshot it. It's out there. But at least for independent developers, there's nothing there yet. There's nothing that says you can actually select the console you are developing for. The 3DS is no longer there, or the Wii U is no longer there, just the Switch, but the list is there. It's a list, and then Switch is on top. NX2 sounds like Switch 2,
right?
It's the same code name from the regular Switch. And if that is there, I could see it coming this year. If that,
it just doesn't sound like a mistake that Nintendo would make. Now, what I could to then be a positive, Nancy, if they made that mistake, they probably could have caught it quick, and someone could have just been lucky and been at the right place at the right time. This is all just kind of speculation and me being very hopeful for a new Switch coming out very soon, because I think that would just be awesome. But this doesn't seem like a Nintendo mistake, but like, things can happen. People can make mistakes. If it was a mistake, they must have fixed it like that. But you never know. I just thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, it's not a mistake when it's a selection. If you are developing for, let's say, you already know, you have knowledge of the next gen system, even if you don't know the name, you know the code name for it, and you're developing for that system, then you have to upload your binary, which is the software, to where the platform, and then select the option, either Nintendo. They might call it NX at the moment, and to test your game, make sure it works good and stuff like that on the store, set the pricing, set the regions, I'm talking from a developer point when it comes to working with the company that I work for. That's exactly the area that I work in with this other company. You know, the back end of the store where you guys buy things. So I know how it functions and how they have the selections they have to make. There's a selection to make from prior devices to the newest devices, and maybe at one point upcoming devices. You know, so that's the way it works. But not everybody has access to that. It has to be a big company like Sega, a company like Activision, a company that is already up there, AAA company. That's what I mean. A AAA company that already has this next level connection with Nintendo. Not just anybody, not any cat on the street.
Right.
You know, can actually access that or can develop for that console until it comes out.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Vandy. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just said right.
I have to pull out my water for this one because this is just some Dr. Zelda Joycey lore here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I always say about Nintendo. We just had a really good direct, really solid direct.
Mm-hmm.
That's the look at me, look at me, look at me. And then we have the rumors floating around. Any successful business, even if you're not a successful business, from everyone from corporations to mom and pops, they're going to throw out there what they want to throw out there. I personally believe that there's some group in Nintendo, probably their marketing group, that says, okay, what can we get away with that the fans will probably just have a whole lot of fun with, so we can figure out what the heck we're going to do with new systems, new games, new A, B, C, D. What can we keep them distracted with? Y'all got to understand, this is Nintendo's world. We just living in it. And I don't mean that in a jerk kind of way. I just mean that because they know that we're going to be digging for information, whether it's a new game, interviews with devs, you know, what Miyamoto had for breakfast this morning. It really doesn't matter. We're always going to want information. So yeah. I truly believe, and I know this, I like my job, but my boring insurance company, they put stuff out there that's marketing purely. Nobody's lying. Nobody's saying things that aren't true. Mm-hmm. It's just part of the marketing strategy. Okay. So the competition doesn't get wind of what you're doing. Because I am not trying to, and I want to make sure I make this very clear. All gamers are welcome here, even though we're a Nintendo podcast. All gamers are welcome here. So this is no shade towards Sony. But every time Nintendo comes out for us, it seems like it comes out the blue with something. I can just hear John Ryan saying, "Gosh, dang it," and throwing something at the wall. How did they do that before we knew about it? Because they're too busy throwing stuff out there. We have no clue when this new Switch is coming. If it's even, I hope they stay on the Switch trail because I think they got a really hot commodity, And the thing about it is, because people are the fans are so invested in Switch, we will pay for a $500 beefy, powerful. It comes in 4K and it makes you breakfast. It takes you back in time. And, you know, it'll make my coffee for me on podcast nights. You know, we will pay that kind of money for a really good system, especially when we know what kind of games we're going to get. Mm-hmm. I'm also and this is just me personally. Yeah, I'm in the camp of I really don't care when a new console comes out. I personally don't. I think it's great that people are talking about it. Please talk about whatever you want concerning gaming. Have fun with everything that's going on. But I care about games. When I stop hearing about games, that's when I get worried. Mm-hmm. Now, from a business standpoint, I will say that I care about the next console, mainly because the fan base is getting louder and louder and louder. We want more power. We want something new. We want blah, 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 blah. We want. And now it's time to strike while the iron's hot. Mm-hmm. It's completely time to hit now. Maybe not necessarily now, but before the year is out. at least make an announcement or throw out a rumor so juicy that we can really, really, really tear it apart for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Right.
Something of that nature, because now that we have the internets, as us old people like to say, the internets, the same thing happened with Switch. We heard all the rumors. We heard all the, of things that were being worked on. We knew Zelda was coming, of course, because they announced it when Wii U was on its, last breath. So it's kind of the same cycle all over again, and also Switch 2 rumors been out there for a couple years now.
Yeah. Wait.
So Nintendo's keeping us distracted.
Yeah.
That's really what this is. They're keeping us distracted. And then, Microsoft and Sony are battling it out in court. There's a lot to just really distract us from what's really going on, and also, and again, this is no shade to Sony because they stay winning. We know that, but we kind of have an idea of when a PS6 is coming, right?
Yeah.
We, even with Microsoft, we kind of have an idea of when the next X series, whatever the heck they're called, is coming. We kind of have an idea of when those kind of things are coming. With Nintendo, you just never know.
Yeah.
Nintendo's always going to Nintendo. And I really feel like somebody is just sitting there like, let me just put this on this 4chan website. Okay, good. They're playing with that. Okay. Now we could go back to work, kind of thing. That's the lore in me. That's the conspiracy theorist in me. And also, if I was head of marketing, that's exactly what I'd be doing. I would keep y'all so busy with all kinds of crap. Not lying, just stuff for you to just have fun with. Things like this. This is exactly what I'd be doing.
Yeah, and I just saw the picture on Discord, Vandy, and yeah, it's exactly like that. That's a selection menu. You select the whatever you're developing for, and that's when you start building up your the rest of your information, what's called the metadata, for your app or for your game, and continue from there. The selection is just like that. So, yeah, I mean, could be.
I mean, we don't know if it's true, if Nintendo made this for us to talk about it. If it's true, when Nintendo still made a talk about this, because again, if they're going to be, the root of rumors, I mean, you would want at least one in a blue moon to be true, so no one ever counts you out.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, all the trends point to a new console as well. So. Yeah. We'll definitely see, but I'm excited for these next couple of months as well. But if anything, we got a pretty good holiday season coming up.
We do.
And one more thing I did want to say real quick. I'm sorry. About F-Zero. I am not an F-Zero fan. I never was. However, I know we're going backwards a little bit, but I really wanted to say this earlier. I'm a little sad for F-Zero and F-Zero fans. Because I try to put myself in that position, and because like I said, Zelda didn't really for real pop off until, yes, everybody talks about Ocarina of Time and everything else. Everybody played Ocarina of Time, but did everybody play all the other games? And then we've got Breath of the Wild and everything. So I kind of feel bad for F-Zero fans because their favorite franchise or something that they really enjoy isn't getting, because I think F-Zero might have hit on Switch. I think it might have hit. Maybe don't do the whole, we're going to pump, $100 million into this game or something like that. But I think if they had really given something a chance, made something, all the franchises are somewhat related. Link shows up in Mario games. Mario Easter eggs show up in Link in Zelda games. All these different things are always connected. So if there has been something F-Zero to kind of get a buzz going, and they had come out with something kind of small and then really blew it up, because this is how I feel that they're doing with Metroid. Because I'm glad that they came out with Metroid Dread. I think Metroid Dread was simply, not simply, I don't want to say simple, because there's a lot of depth there actually. But Metroid Dread was it wasn't the most expensive game to make, but it's a very, very good game. And it's visually beautiful for a side scroller and everything. Samus is fabulous. But that got the buzz talking. and people still asking, where's MP4? Where's Metro Prime 4? People who don't like Metroid are asking about it. You know what I mean? So I think F-Zero would have benefited from something similar.
Yeah.
And then if it had flopped, it's kind of like, okay, well, we tried and nobody bought it. And so nobody asked us for one again. How about that? So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry, that was like all 30 minutes.
And to add to that, I think that the way they could go about it is really do the remaster first. You know, go for F-Zero GX and give us the remastered version of the game so that it introduces it to a new audience, and then that will be a boost so that when they are working on a brand new game or sees how this does first, and if it does well, then they can continue working on the franchise because they already have a really good game. They could just do the Metroid Prime remaster thing to it, and bring it over to the Switch or whatever next gen console, but remaster it, and I think that's a good and expensive way of bringing a game forward, the remastering. And look at Metroid. Metroid did well this year, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who didn't play Metroid, including myself, I never played Metroid Prime, and I wanted to play it. I didn't want to go back to GameCube because I have it there, but it's, I don't have the game, and it's hard to get because if you buy the physical, you have to spend $200-$300 to get it, And Nintendo did a great job with Metroid Prime, and of course Dread, in the side-scrolling. What do you call that? Metroidvania. I like that Metroidvania style. So I agree with you, Joycey. So hopefully,
and
yeah, go ahead.
Metroid Prime.
Metroid
Prime Remastered also has a 94 Metacritic score. Personally, I understand.
Hey.
Don't always look at what critics have to say about things, otherwise you'll never like nothing.
Yeah.
But the fact that a game of that is older and got a shiny new coat of paint, I know they did more to it than just that. Got a 94 Metacritic. That's pretty impressive. So that's keeping the buzz going, and everybody's still wondering. Metro Prime 4 has been Nintendo's best kept secret. They can't keep nothing else secret. Tears of the Kingdom gets leaked like darn near a month before the game comes out. Everything gets leaked. We're talking about Switch 2. Nobody has been able to find nothing on Metro Prime 4.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that whole team is locked in a vault with nothing but air vents and coffee and nothing else.
We did get the logo trailer, right? Showing how beautiful the word Metroid looks. I mean, those graphics were popping. It was just that number 4. Man,
I made that on my PC PowerPoint, dude. Not even on my Mac. I made that for them.
On Paint.
Nintendo, where's my money? I'm kidding.
So jumping from that to that, supposedly we'll see if it's real, if it's just somebody who went to Photoshop and is really good at it and put it together. Who knows? But there's a lot of stuff going out there, a lot of unknown. It's all going to be known pretty soon once Nintendo Live comes about and see what's happening. My question is, why did it make it a raffle? Why?
We're going back to the. You mean what was the game? Is it their game? No, not their Gamescom. Their live.
Nintendo Live. Yeah. We're going Nintendo Live because it's still in the same kind of subject. We have new games coming, Switch 2 rumors and Nintendo being present in all these conventions.
It's the buzz. It's the buzz, Mike.
There's a lot going on and a lot of parts moving at the same time, right? And one of the things, like, why did Nintendo? It's the first Nintendo Live here, but why was it a raffle? I've never thought about it, that, because I could have just flown to Seattle for the first time with my family. We were gonna do that. We were gonna go to Seattle, my girls and I, and I was gonna do a video up there and do Nintendo Live and just have a fun good time. We weren't accepted. Thank you, Nintendo. But I'm like, gave me that thing. Why? I want to direct this question to Paul to see if he has a clue, because he has experience with a whole bunch of other events. Why would Nintendo make a public event, but then make it a raffle for either an individual person or a family of 4.
I have a
Because-
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, because just in case so I understand, so it was the raffle was an all expense paid trip, like a gift from Nintendo, or this is just to get in.
Yeah, it's free. The event is free, but you can't get in unless
You can't just show up.
No, unless you enter with the raffle. You know, you're chosen. You're picked.
Yeah, Paul, why y'all do that?
Come on, Paul.
So it could be a couple of things. It could just be space, limited amount of space. The particular venue that they have doesn't have the capacity to hold 60,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And like an E3, where it's an LA Convention Center, where you have a South and West Hall that can hold 60,000, this is not that. It's going to be a smaller place, and if they had as many people that would want to go, probably you're going to have 50,000 people show up to a building that's only got 5K capacity. So it could just be something like that, and they know that's what's going to be. Nintendo actually had something a little bit similar. Let's see, when did I go? It was 2015's Nintendo World Championships in Los Angeles. They had a small select people that could go. I was one of them. I was able to bring a friend dressed up like Ryu from Street Fighter that day, because that was when, you know, Nintendo and Capcom announced that Ryu was going to be a character in Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and for 3DS. But anyways, they did it before where it was a smaller capacity, you know, crowd, because at the time the Microsoft Theater, unless if it was the Nokia Theater at the time, could only hold so many people. So it could just be amount of space. If it's randomized, that's what the answer probably is. If it's not randomized, they could be selecting people in particular, because you have to register and have to be a Nintendo Switch member. You know, you have to have a Nintendo account so you would be considered. So if it's not randomized and if it's being selected, they could want to make sure that there's a diverse crowd that goes in, because if it is for a game or if it is for a hardware, okay, who are the people that are mostly on the internet typing and passionate? As in, they're people in their 20s to 40s that are us, that are on podcasts and on Twitter and have our Twitch streams and all this kind of stuff that we're doing it. They don't want that to necessarily be everybody that goes to Nintendo Live. They want to have some moms and dads and kids of different ages, and make sure that there's men and women and people of, you know, any kind of preferences, different ages and all that kind of stuff, to have a diverse crowd. So that those pockets of people go back and tell their senior folks about this game that's going to cater to you. This Mario crowd, this casual crowd, this group that some people online will make fun and tear away everybody's 1-2 switch, completely write it off. But there's a lot of people out there in the 129 million Nintendo Switch install base that are going to have fun with everybody's 1-2 switch and actually have a good time. And if you only have the most hardcore of journalists, boom, suck up all those tickets and go to Nintendo Live, they're not going to have positive impressions of that kind of game, because it's not their jam. But if Nintendo is selecting who, and if that game's there, that's going to do well and bode well for that. So, like, but I don't know if they're selecting at random or not. So my guess is one of the two. They either want to have a good, diverse group there, or just because of space. I think those are the two most likely ones.
And the way that you can get those tickets is if it's for a group, then the group has to be part of your Nintendo family. Like, if I have my Nintendo account, I have 3 other accounts under my account. That's my wife's account, my 2 daughters. That's the only way we can apply for the ticket of 4, right? And that's the max 4 people. And then, or the individual ones, like you can apply individually per ticket. So it's very interesting how the dynamic, but it makes sense. They could have just said, "Oh wait, let me look this email up." It's just, the guy's on YouTube, you know, and seen that and made the choice. So I understand that part. But yeah, I mean, Joyce,
Question. My tinfoil hat is tingling. So when you did the raffle and or you registered for the raffle, you had to raffle with your Nintendo account and name the people that you were coming with.
Yeah.
That were coming with you with their Nintendo accounts.
Yeah, it has to be name and last name and everything, because each ticket was going to have their actual name on the ticket.
Because the thing about it is, well, if I was in marketing, this is how I would do it.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, I don't think they looked up and see if you saw your YouTube or anything like that. They looked up your play history.
They know who Mike Odyssey is. They know who Mike Odyssey is.
Yeah, but what I mean is, for the purposes of this raffle,
yeah.
what I mean is they were looking at your play history. And depending on what they're going to be doing there, and it doesn't mean there's going to be anything new. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean we're going to get all of a sudden, all these people demoing Switch NX to 64, Super NES, whatever the heck it's going to be. It just means they need a certain demographic of players. And like Paul said, of course, it's also, they want people of different ages, different walks of life, different types of families, friends, whatever. But really what I believe they're looking at your play history. Somebody like me, I'm interested in what response I would have gotten if I had gone in. But I didn't even think about it. I'm too busy anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
because they would have looked and saw, first of all, this person puts in at least 400 hours in every single stupid game she buys, because I'm getting my money's worth. And I have a very big variety. So do you guys as well. Mm-hmm. But I have a very big variety, because if you look at my play history right now, is of course it's Tears of the Kingdom, and then it's Splatoon, and then it's Octopath, and then I think Bayonetta still shows up. Very, very, very different games. They probably were looking for people in that kind of category who don't have a whole lot of similar games in their recent play history. Because that's exactly how I would do it. And then and what the information they're trying to get out of those people while they're there is what's probably going to play a part in game creation, marketing, whatever they're doing next. I don't think anything crazy is going to be announced or anything like that. Although it would have been cool if you could have gone so we could see what it's like.
I'm still gonna try to apply for the individual. Now I'll just show up, man.
Just show up and be like, "Come on, man."
Just show up.
Do you know who I am? I'm Mike.
Do you know who I work for?
I mean, personally, I would be. I don't know. It's an extension of PAX West. Is really what it is. So truthfully, I genuinely think it comes down to space, because if this is the first time Nintendo has really had like a presence at a convention that's as big as PAX, like I can only imagine the amount of people who would have flown just to go to Nintendo and like pretend that PAX West didn't exist. Yeah. So I would be genuinely astounded if that wasn't part of it, because the amount of scalping, the lines out the door, it would have been too much, genuinely.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about two different events, though. We're talking about the live event.
It's an extension of PAX West. So when you go to PAX West, Nintendo has their own section of it, and that's what you get raffled to get into.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was its own separate convention too, and we were planning on going, and it was only until we got information from a convention buddy of ours that said it's at the same convention center, at the same day, at the same time as PAX West. It's in the same building.
So technically you can still go to PAX West, but to go into the Nintendo Live area, it's different. So
you have to get into the raffle at that point.
Yeah, itself kind of also, to me, I'm sorry, it's the Tingle. Is it the Peter Tingle from Spider-Man?
The Peter Tingle.
Peter Tingle. You know?
So
I know Tingle from Zelda.
I don't think any, like, no matter where they hosted this, if it were just Nintendo exclusive, the amount of people who would have shown up to it, it would have been too much. And I think that's just the best way that they could do crowd control while keeping it fair, to be honest with you. There could be an aspect to it of like, we want to make sure that these people are like real Nintendo fans and not bots. And that could be their like 2-factor authentication kind of situation.
Yeah.
But again, I would be flabbergasted if that wasn't the real reason behind it.
And the only reason I would say it isn't is because venues like this run conventions and concerts like this all the time. They know how many seats they have. They know what the rules are. So the thing about it is that the fact that Nintendo did a raffle versus tickets are on sale when they're gone, they're gone. Too bad, so sad. because that's still fair. You know, I mean, for the most part, as long as you don't go through. Let me not say that. As long as you don't go through a certain ticket venue.
I think the issue was the fact that they announced Nintendo Con, or like the Nintendo everything else that was happening with it, way after PAX West was announced.
Yeah.
So people would have already had tickets for PAX West, not knowing that the Nintendo event was a part of it, essentially. So it would have been like a too little too late. They would have had to announce it together in order for people to know, because otherwise PAX West could be sold out before people would have even got a chance to buy for Nintendo.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're doing the raffle, because it's a thing of they're collecting information. This isn't part of the regular convention, like you said. It's an extension. They're collecting information. That's why they're doing a raffle, because I mean, it's no different than concert tickets. You know, there's 60,000 seats, and once you get to 60,001. Well, sorry, that one person's out of luck. You know, it's just So it's too calculated. Is my point.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it actually lends to us to believe they have something other than just a regular day of fun plan. Just because they could have done that anyway. Let's say. Just like
that's true too.
Lindsay Randy said, just put in place that you need a Nintendo account, and just the same exact thing. You know, go online, tickets run out, they run out, but they at least have your information. They know what you've been playing and stuff like that. But the fact that it's not only that it's you have to register and have your account, and then also be under a family account, not an individual or family. But also it's a raffle thing, which actually gives it a little more importance to me. You know, it's like it's like a lottery. You're like you're winning something big. You know what I mean? So to me, when I win a raffle, it's a big thing. I won.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
I will say I have yet to see someone get accepted. I've seen all denials. I have yet to see a content creator or anyone I know be accepted, which is kind of crazy.
That could be a link there too. So
that could be
a link to the past. So you never know.
I do think that they're looking at play histories though, because they want a certain type.
I agree.
Because if they were doing another action adventure game, you know, they would. Well, Miyamoto would have called Paul personally. So you know. Paul, you like Zelda? Like, totally come to this thing we're doing. So yeah.
Look at my play history. I like Metroid. I like Zelda. I like Mario. Come on.
Yeah. Right.
But I think those are safe bets. Everybody kind of likes it.
Joycey, there I can't be because of my playlist. Because first thing, I own every game and their mother, and then my daughters, they have Splatoon, Mario, Animal Crossing, very wholesome games. You know.
And it doesn't mean that there's anything, but it depends on what they're trying to extract from your playlist.
Maybe because
it's not a bet. Nobody has a bad playlist.
They want mom, dad, a boy, and a girl instead of mom, dad, and two girls, so that there's more variety. A boy and a girl choosing things, and it looks better for pictures.
I don't think it's even that.
It's all about the pictures. Instagram.
It's not all about that, because they can angle that a certain way. That's also part of marketing too. They can angle all that kind of stuff a certain way. I just and like I said, this is just the lore conspiracy theorist in me talking. Because that's exactly what I would do. But then, you know, we've talked about before how Nintendo should, or hopefully does, branch out and does more. They're going to always make Mario. They're always gonna. Now we're definitely going to be getting at least like 5 more Zeldas, things like that, because they make money. But when they do make something new and they really put their heart into it, they want it to pop off really, really well. Splatoon is, you know, I don't know if they even expected Splatoon to really pop off the way it did. But they had to have some kind of test for that. You know, it was brand new to Nintendo for the most part. That type of game and that style, and Splatoon is just the most fun thing ever. And I was one of those crazy people out there at the beginning that said, "Oh, this game is stupid. Nobody's going to want to play this. Everybody wants to play Call of Duty." Yeah, well, shows what I know. So, so there could be something in the works that they're cooking, something brand new, and they want people who have a certain play history,
so
they can say, see if they would be interested in certain things. It doesn't mean they're going to reveal it, talk about it, or anything of that nature. They want to see what you're interacting with.
Yeah, play study.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Something like that. And like I said, that's exactly how I would do it.
Yeah. Well,
nothing to see here, folks.
let's move on to grabbing some questions from the chat and go ahead and answer a couple questions in the chat. So if you guys see any questions you would like to answer, grab them and let me know so I can go ahead and highlight them on the screen here.
We got a super chat earlier.
We did.
From Marcus Aaron, who said happy birthday to Paul.
Happy
birthday.
Yeah.
And thank you, Marcus, for that super chat. We appreciate it so much. You are awesome.
Thank you.
And also for the kind comment he made earlier in the chat, Nintopic podcast. I read it and it means a lot. Thank you so much. Appreciate it so much. We have do we have questions?
We're just also on a delay as well, so I bet a lot of people probably haven't even heard the question yet. But
I can be like, Nori, do we have any questions? We have a question here. I'm gonna see.
I got a fun game that we can play next week, but that's next week.
Let's do it.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah, for next week. I mean, not right now. Not right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I meant to tell you tonight, but I was having all kind of tech issues because my Mac was pretending like I don't know what a camera is.
All right, question here. Let's see here. Let me go here, and am I showing it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hey, Michael. Let's see what for everybody. Do you think that we'll see the I can't see the words new console in the live event, just like how they revealed the old consoles? Yes, I really do. I'm not sure if any of the upcoming events, but if Nintendo does show off a new console, it'll be a big event. I doubt that they'll drop a Switch OLED type of trailer and that's it. I think Switch OLED was just an incremental upgrade, just like and that's how they revealed that. It was the same exact Switch, same exact internals. It's just a brand new OLED screen. So but when it comes to a next gen console, I do think that an event will be held.
I think he meant at the live event that we were just talking about. I mean, that's the way you read.
Yeah. That's why I said maybe not at the live events that are upcoming, like the next like Gamescom, Tokyo. I was gonna say Tokyo Drift. What is that? Tokyo Game Show. And what's the other one? Nintendo Live. I would love for it to be one of those three events. I'm with Paul if they do announce it this year. It's coming down this year, and if it does come down this year, Switch owners, you have not need to worry because the lifespan of your Nintendo Switch is 10 years. Nintendo will continue to support that for 10 years, giving you games, updates, and everything in between. You'll be fine. The new Switch and the next gen, the now Switch and the next gen will coexist for at least 3 more years. So we're good. We're good there. I get a lot of questions like that because people worry if they announce a Switch 2 when they just bought Switch new one. You know what I mean? And I think that Nintendo will not abandon the Switch anytime soon. It's still Nintendo's baby, big seller, still selling and going great. Any you guys see any questions?
I just see more predictions, to be honest.
Okay, Switch to Live for 4 years after the successor is well, it like I can respond to this one. So Mr. Doggy here. Doggy's a channel member. Thank you so much for your comment. Keeping the Switch alive, I think 4 years it's a long time. I don't think it'll be 4 years. But a couple more years, 2 to 3 years, is a way to transition from one console to another. But when we have a base so big, and Paul can testify to this, when it comes to the numbers that we have of Nintendo Switch accounts, and then there's Nintendo accounts. So when it comes to transitioning, I think Nintendo needs some time to transition from one console to the other. And while that transition is taking place, they need to keep servicing and keep giving the love to So people who have the Switch, just like PlayStation did with the PS4, PS5, it's just recently now that PS5 is making their own, and we were getting game just on PS5. But for a while, it was PS5 and PS4, and now also Microsoft Xbox is right now stating that they're going to make exclusive games for the next gen, their new gen console now. Just now, when that console came out, what, 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, you know, and so they continue to service both consoles at the same time, and they're doing it to transition. And Microsoft is going even further. They stated that they're not only gonna they're gonna make games for the next gen console and no longer games for Xbox One, but they're gonna be those games, the newer gen games, are gonna be available on Xbox One on the cloud, so you can still stream those games and still have them available. Still buy them, still have them available, and play them on your Xbox One. So, you know, I think it's a good idea because I think it doesn't alienate everybody. Maybe people can just buy a Switch, they can't afford it. Just like who said that? Somebody one of us said about the pricing. It could be a higher price that we're used to, and we can't jump at it so quick. We want to keep our Switch but still enjoy the new games. You know, I think a transition period is very important for Nintendo. If they want a success, if they don't want that, what do you call that? The cliff?
Dive or decline.
Falling off the cliff.
Yeah.
I think it builds good faith in your user base too. If you have a system where you know that you're buying this product and there's going to be designated, like, you know, a decade that you're going to get your investment out of it, and that it's not going to fall apart in 4 years, that it's not going to become irrelevant in 5 years.
Yeah.
Now, some people are on the side where, but then what's the point of a new platform? Is it a significant upgrade? Does it have some exclusives? If you're developing for both, you're always going to have a little bit of a weaker vision because the lowest common denominator is holding you back from really capitalizing on building something purely for that new CPU, that new GPU. And that's what folks were kind of upset with the early PS5 titles. Like, God of War Ragnarok is not as big as it could have been because they have to make it for base PS4. And I can see why some people, you know, would not want the Nintendo Switch to coexist, but I think it should. And I think there's a way that Nintendo could, you know, take advantage of the install base of Nintendo Switch and really show the hardware power of what does Metroid Prime 4 look like on this Nintendo Switch 2 versus the base. But hey, base people, if you're not ready to upgrade yet financially, or because it's just not available, it's out of stock, you're still covered, you're still good. And when you do get that Nintendo Switch 2, guess what? It'll work. Like, if it's backwards compatible.
Family of systems.
I think it will be. A strong family. You know, no one wants to buy. If you knew that buying an Apple iPhone would last 2 years and then you had to get an upgrade, it wouldn't sell as well. But people know I could keep this thing for 4 or 5 years if I don't want to be on the bleeding edge of technology and be okay. And Nintendo is just in an interesting spot. Not to talk too long on it, but you know, they had to announce their hardware successor a significant amount of time before it was ready because they didn't have necessarily the best strategy towards the end of their old console's life. So they had to build up some interest.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, yeah.
Now
I'm sorry.
And they haven't, you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Linz.
I mean, just to like piggyback off what Paul said, like think about how big of a mess Sony would have been had they not made everything for the PS4. Like genuinely. It's not even the fact that like people couldn't afford a PS5. People were breaking down doors trying to get their hands on a PS5. But the amount of scalping and everything that happened, had they only made those titles for PS5, it would have been like riots. People would have been livid. And it would have been nearly impossible because we're finally at a point like now where you could maybe walk to like 5 different stores and confidently be able to get your hands on a PS5. And that's crazy that it's this many years after it happened. And Nintendo said they're taking steps to obviously prevent scalping for their next system. But if something goes wrong, you know, and it ends up being incredibly hard to get your hands on a Switch or like the newer one, I think it's really smart that they're making everything backwards compatible because like I said, that's just really the only way to be able to ensure that even if scalpers get their hands on it and everything else, that if your favorite title gets released, that you're still able to play those games. Because if your whole thing is like, dang, I want Donkey Kong. If Donkey Kong gets released, that's going to be my bread and butter, my everything. I will cry. I will, do whatever I need to do. And Donkey Kong is only on that new console, and you literally cannot find it anywhere because it's just wiped,
Yeah.
At least in that way, you're still getting the same experience of everyone else. Because I really just feel like that would rob the opportunity for all those people. And I think Nintendo's definitely learning a lot from how the Sony situation happened.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback even more, so two of us are on your back, Paul. I completely agree with both of y'all when y'all say that, because I think that's one of the things out of many, but there's one of the things that Sony does right is they keep the other one in production and everything else. And also think about the Switch like this. This has been the console of sequels. We had Splatoon 2, Splatoon 3. We had Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. We only got one Mario Odyssey. I would have loved another Mario Odyssey. I love that game. But we still got other Marios. We got a Metroid Dread. So a lot of those games are now back into production for the next one. So the good news about it is by the time you're not the next Mario, I will die on this hill. I'll wear a onesie with y'all if I'm wrong. We're getting another big old Mario. That was the coffee. That was Duncan talking. We're gonna get another big old Mario on the next Switch, of course. But by the time you're waiting, we're not getting another Zelda for 5 years. We're not getting another another Splatoon for several years. Those types of games. So because they're going back they're back in production and everything. The games that are coming out now, it's like, well, we already have all these games, so you can totally play them on your regular Switch, or now you can play them on your Super Nintendo Switch at NX64 2.0 Pro. So I completely agree with you guys with what you guys are saying about that. That didn't come out as well as I wanted it to, but
it came out.
I'm tired. I'm old.
You're good. You're good. We have a question. We have a question on there. Who wants to take a look at it?
I will. Oh no, I won't, because actually there's a Zelda one in there that I was going to answer. Somebody else take it. Vandy, you take it.
Okay. The question is, so y'all think we will get a new hybrid for the next gen console? I'm guessing by hybrid you mean that it's able to be played on a TV and then you can also undock it and play it as a handheld. I think Nintendo would be big dum-dums if they do not continue that, because no other company has really been able to do it as well as they have. Like there's been like the Steam Deck that like I'm pretty sure blows up. And I think PlayStation has announced something, but everyone's like, this just looks like the Wii U, but somehow worse. So I feel like if Nintendo doesn't do one of like their driving forces, which is being able to play it on TV, and then if you need to go somewhere or if you want to travel, you can take it with you. If they don't include that, I feel like it would be a massive mistake, but I don't think Nintendo will do that. Like I don't think they would be dumb enough to do that. So yeah, I do think so, and I think that we will continue to have a hybrid console for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I agree. I think
it prints money.
Nintendo has perfected the form factor of the Nintendo system, and they brought both handheld and dock and TV together, where they can actually produce more games. You noticed that, right? When we had separate consoles, games were very far apart. Now everything is all together. We got more games, and I think all they have to do is to be successful. Believe it or not, is not change anything. Just give it more power and more graphics.
Ain't
more
broke,
power.
don't fix it.
And and then better Joy-Cons. Things that people are complaining about are the Joy-Cons and the power. Update that, call it the 2, move on, and I think it'll blow off because let me tell you, Nintendo people keep saying, oh, the Nintendo is far behind, but you don't understand. We're talking about here a hybrid console. It's a handheld console you can take with you no matter where you go. Still games look incredible, and then plant it on the Switch. And then where we have rumors of it being a PS4 power, Xbox One power? Did Xbox One have a handheld? The PS4 have a handheld?
Mm-mm.
You know, that means that Nintendo has finally perfected the cooling factor for a more powerful console. Not only that, but it'll be like a PS4 power, but with newer technology, faster loading times because of the hard drive they'll use. They'll use maybe M.2 like everything is now. Faster loading times, faster processing, better cooling. Nintendo has already perfected the Switch.
Yep.
Imagine them bringing another console to light, even if it has a PS4 power, but with all those things stacked on top of each other, plus you being able to take with you a PS4 level game like God of War Ragnarok on the road without burning your hand, like I burned mine with some.
And remember, guys, you don't even have to pause your game. It's called a Switch for a reason. Like, you know, you walk in the house, you're playing, put it right in the dock, and it turns the TV on for you. You don't even have to pause the game. It takes seconds.
All right. Do you guys see any other questions?
There's a couple I posted in
one.
our StreamYard chat.
Yeah, I like the one by Johnny Brosny. If you want to scroll up a tiny bit in the chat.
Scroll down. And can you see what I'm scrolling or no?
No.
No.
It's in our chat if you want to look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to the chat here.
Yeah.
And it's the one from Johnny.
Yeah, it's a little hard to understand, but after I read it like 2 or 3 times, I know what he's asking now. If you want me to read it and then explain it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he's asking, so the actual question is, what chance of % out of 100 Switch 2 info will drop in this month? Answer from each panel member, aka what are the odds that the Switch 2 gets announced this month out of like 100%? So if you think there's a 50-50 shot, it's 50%. And he wants every single person from the panel to answer. So this can be pretty quick.
Okay, yeah. Oh my god. So I mean July for July?
Yep.
50-50.
50-50.
50-50.
Okay.
Paul?
I'm gonna go with 40% chance for July.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty high for Paul. That's high.
That's higher than I expected. I expected
higher for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at some of the things what we said earlier from all of you, my own thoughts, and I'm like, if you were going to show it, you would pick these 3 countries and these 3 places because Nintendo's headquarters in Europe is Germany, and that's where one of these events happening. Nintendo's U.S. quarters is in Washington, and in Japan, okay, Kyoto, Tokyo, a little bit of a difference there. But if you wanted to have some kind of hardware and have it be exciting, you'd want to keep it local and not necessarily travel from Washington to California and have a miss up on some kind of truck going into LA's convention center. So Washington, Germany, and Tokyo. But my stance is a little bit lower because July only has 26 days left. So 40. I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on like why did I come up with that? I don't know. Wait, so Vandy, did you say 50 or Mike said 50?
I said 50.
Mike said 50.
I just saw number 5 in July. Number 5 to 50.
And what about Lynn's and Vandy and Joycey? What about you?
I'll go last. Oh, okay. I'm at 20% for July. And
sorry.
It's my opinion. You don't
I don't know how that happened. I'm not even in the roadcaster over there. I don't know how that happened.
But and also to piggyback off some of the comments in the chat as well. The reason I'm going with 20% is because we're still distracted with stuff. Nintendo, I feel, is really good about when it's something brand new, whether it be gaming console, whatever, they hit that sweet spot. And that sweet spot is when we're, yay, Tears of the Kingdom, yay, Pikmin, yay games, and yay, blah, 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 and then bam. You know what I mean? And but we're still a little ways away from the fall direct. We just had a good direct. There's a live going. There's developers giving interviews. We're kind of in we're there's a little too much still going on. So I think you kind of have to find that sweet spot where there's just enough going on.
Yeah.
Enough. So I say 20% for July. I am to be perfectly safe, I'm team 2024 for new Switch if I have to give it any kind of percentage. But if I were to see something before the year was out, maybe even after the fall direct, where they just put some kind of teaser out there or something like that, I can see that happening as well, because I think the Switch was announced. Paul, correct me. Was it October 2017, 2016?
October 2016, and then they had that video, and then one little time where they had it at Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Fallon. And that's when Reggie was still there.
Was the big.
But there were key factors there that obligated them to do it so early.
That's very true.
The Wii U was just
Wii U wasn't doing anything for Christmas, for holidays, for anything. So that's why I'm like, let's just show.
Because I don't see them doing it before the holidays, but I can see them doing it before the holidays as well, because it's also an unexpected time, and Switch is still hot. And if they're going to go the route of here's the same thing you already have, but it has more, it's beefier, it's more powerful, the hardcore gamers are going to want it anyway.
Yeah,
it kind of depends. So, but that's my answer though.
Yeah, but then again, they will need more time to announce it and give people enough confidence that a Switch purchase is still good. You know what I mean?
True.
For the holiday season, that way they don't kill off the Switch completely. So
unless they're gonna release it for holiday season, that'd be wild. I will wear a onesie if that happens.
If they release it,
if they actually release it for holiday 2023, I will wear a onesie.
All right, so we have Joycey on.
It's not going to happen. That's why I can make that bet.
Okay, so yeah, so if Linz and I, if it happens, if it doesn't happen, onesie. If it happens, Joycey onesie.
There we go.
If the hardware is available for purchase, I will wear some kind of Nintendo onesie. I'll have to.
Well, how about we just commit everybody to a onesie right now? If like, for example, Paul said 40%, so if it does happen, onesie for Paul.
I'm just saying, I would be just so shocked that they would drop it that quick in holiday 2023, and then it would make, for me, that's what would make it interesting, because now I'm like, okay, well, what's really going on with this new system if you guys are going to kind of drop it like that?
But that's the thing. That's why I say that announcements should be. I think that if they don't announce it either in July or August, then it's not coming this year.
I think so. I think they can get away with it.
They can't. It's too short of their.
It is.
Their holiday lineup is set in stone already by the end of September. October, and it's already kind of set up that
but then there could be a whole bunch of surprises we don't know about. See, I know I'm making an argument for something I don't even believe in, but I'm just looking at it all from different angles. But for the record, I'm team 2024 if I had to make a actual educated guess, or even beyond.
And then we got Linz and Vandy. What's your score?
What's yours?
I would probably say I'm around the 15 to 20% range. The only reason it's not 0 is because kind of like the trends that we had pointed out, where for the past couple of Julys, every 2 years, they've announced some sort of new Switch shenanigans, whether it was the Switch Lite or the Switch OLED. Now it's 2 years. Now, I don't think they're going to do something else with this particular Switch. I feel like that would kind of be a waste. But I also kind of can see that argument. Plus, I guess another like 2 or 3%. This is just my idea of the holiday games that are coming out, kind of like the things that are set to be released. I think this is one of their weaker holiday releases. Maybe that's just because I'm not maybe like a big 2D Mario person. So if there were some like bigger titles that were probably announced this upcoming holiday season, not just a 2D Mario, a very kind of out of the blue Mario remake, and then Pikmin to kind of hold this over, I would probably not kind of have this theory. But the fact that there's not really a whole, big, massive, crazy, we've been working on this game for so flipping long, game releasing this holiday season, that's, I guess, another like 5% of why. Maybe it's because they're announcing the console later, next gen console later this month.
Yeah, remakes are kind of, I mean, those Mario games are huge for sure, for Mario fans and stuff. But I see where you're coming from, because it is
Yeah.
a remake remastered year. If you count how many games are remakes or remasters this year alone, we started off with Metroid Prime remaster, right? And then Kirby's Dream Land Deluxe, that's another port. And then the Advance Wars, another remaster port, right? Then add Mario RPG to that, that's another remake.
Yeah.
So I see
it's the year of remakes, which doesn't take as much as making a brand new game. Obviously, a lot of their focus was Tears of the Kingdom. But the fact that there's not a big seller is like, well, maybe it's because we're waiting to drop the bomb of the next gen console. But even then, that's still not enough for me to even be remotely near a quarter. I'm really not that sure. Like, I think it's pretty low. I'm also 2024. I think that's the perfect time to drop it.
Linz, what do you think?
I'm gonna counter every single one of you guys. I'm 55%. So honestly, it follows the trends. It does. They've announced every single console drop in July. I don't think it's a coincidence that Nintendo all of a sudden is coming out of the woodworks and is deciding to go to every single major convention that, you know, they can be a part of right now, on top of making sure that they're, correct me if I'm wrong, in July at every single one of their headquarters in Germany, in everything very soon. And so, in my personal opinion, it would make sense if it gets announced at one of these big gaming conventions where they're not really going to have a lot of competition. So the main talking point and what's going to get everyone talking on social media is the Switch, because they're not going to have to compete against a lot of other big titles, in my opinion. And also with the timing of July, it gives a lot of people time to save up the money and know that this console is coming. Because I think if they were to drop it too later, you have to think of like the single moms, you know, who are working to make sure that they have whatever for their kids for Christmas and stuff like that. So I think it gives people enough time to plan ahead and make sure. I also think it gives time for the like companies that are running the stuff, whether that's GameStop, whether it's your local game store, whether it's Target, Best Buy, whatever. I think that it gives them time to make sure that their poop is in a group, and make sure that if Nintendo's like really die hard on, I always just said that, I'm sorry.
That was awesome.
That's hilarious.
I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But it gives people time to stop scalping and, you know, at least try to set up those parameters a lot ahead of time. So I don't know, especially considering the fact that they've done so many remakes. I think pushing all of that to 2024, like, I don't know how many more remakes we can do, because it doesn't make sense to then drop main titles in 2024 right before you drop a big console. So in my opinion, it would make sense to drop a big console after a whole bunch of years of remakes where you don't really have another big thing coming, to then say, hey, Nintendo Switch 2 is coming, Fall Direct happens, here's all the big games we're working on that you can get on the new console that is going to be dropping this holiday. So then that way, you know, this is our holdover. And then as soon as the Fall Direct happens, it's everything that you can get that's going to be cross-compatible on this new system. So to me, from a marketing standpoint, that makes more sense, because, like I said, I don't think it makes sense too much to go into 2024, because I don't know how much more they can just keep doing remakes and have people not ask for something bigger for that amount of time, you know?
I agree. I agree that
I agree with all of you. Dang.
So, I mean, trust me, there's some great points made today when it comes to, you know, the versus like and against, or, you know, versus, you know, everybody make super great points. So it's like when Vandy was talking about 2024 and Paul, I'm like, man, I should change my stance to 2024. When Liz is talking, I'm like, man, 2023. When you know, so I'm like, to me, I'm still on team 2023. I see the lineup this year as a sign that I can't call it weak. Tears of the Kingdom was this year. I cannot call that weak, because just because of Tears of the Kingdom, I will not call this year a weak launch year. And of course, other people will say the same exact thing about Fire Emblem Engage. To them, that was the game of the year.
A lot of Pikmin 4 buzz.
I think
It's not big, but it's still a lot of good buzz. So I think Pikmin 4 is going to have a good release.
Exactly. You can ask Arlo, is this a weak game for you? No, he'll
Arlo he's been begging for Pikmin 4 for like 5 years.
You know, it's not a weak year when it comes to gaming. But I feel it is the type of year that we would see before a major console. Will it happen in 2023? Nintendo knows. Will it happen in 2024? Nintendo knows.
Nintendo go Nintendo.
Nintendo knows it all, and we are at their mercy until they actually release or tell something. All I can say is that it can be later in the year, can't be too far. They need time to build and to sell both things at the same time for a holiday season, not to kill a Switch off, and marketing and convince people why. I just bought a Switch. Why would I need to buy another one? You know? So there we have. That was the podcast, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. We got to some of your questions, and I guess I think today, when it comes to thoughts and explanations and convincing, I think we have one of the best podcasts today. Everybody here did such an amazing job. I want to get a shout out to all this amazing crew, Paul Guild Network, Dr. DJ Joshi J. I got it. See, it keeps rolling. Linz and Vandy. I mean, incredible. If you guys are in the chat, throw some hearts for them because they were amazing today. And I want to give out a huge shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are super cool and amazing and beautiful, and we love you, and we thank you for being part of this podcast today. We actually went 10 minutes over the podcast. That's how great the conversations were today. And when we have conversations like that, we're having fun. Time flies, which is a good thing, right? So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Nintopic podcast. I have my little thing here to see if it actually works. Let's see here. Does it work? Does it work?
Yeah.
It's too loud. Be quiet. I'm trying to control the thing over there with this here, and I also have this right here. All right, guys, that is the Nintopic podcast. We have our little moves here from the intro. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next episode of the Odyssey here at the Nintopic podcast. But before we let you go, we got 2 things we need to let you know. Number 1, take it away, Paul.
Never give up.
Don't do that.
And journey on.
And journey on.
There, he's got it, Chad. Let's go.
We definitely should.
All right. I'm like, it's true. You cannot journey on without giving up, because if not, you really gave up. So that doesn't make any sense. All right, guys. Peace.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah, I haven't ended yet. The button's not working.
I feel like you do this on purpose.